Okay, so again, we're going to get back to that because I needed to cut that video off anyway. It was getting too long. So again, 2 fingers. Again, I'll show you that. To make music with your guitar. And then 2 frets. Now, frets are the metal pieces on the neck of the guitar, but when guitarists talk about frets, they're actually referring to the space between the metal, because that's where your finger's supposed to go. So, 2 fingers, 2 frets, 2 forms. And I'm going to get into all this, and then 2 focuses. So that is the free flow system or method, and it's 2 by 4. Each one of these categories that start with the letter F. Again, 2 fingers, 2 forms, 2 frets, and 2 focuses. They are, I like to call these the 2 by 4 system as part of the free flow method. And because 2 by 4s are the basic building material within any construction project, it's a great analogy for this methodology of learning how to what? Again, make music with your guitar. And so how that ties in is 2 fingers. The 2 frets would be using wherever you choose to start off in the neck. You're going to be 2 frets apart at any given time. So now hear what I mean by that. In this case, you're 1 and 2. So that's what I mean by, I'm not going to say 2 frets apart, I'm going to say you're incorporating 2 frets at all times, would be the proper way. So just so it doesn't trip you up, 2 frets apart would be literally 2 frets apart. But in this case, so again, you're always going to incorporate 2 fingers, but you're always going to incorporate 2 frets. They may not be 2 frets apart, they'll be sometimes next to each other, but it's always going to be just 2 frets for this initial learning how to make music with your guitar lesson. So again, 2 fingers, 2 frets, you're going to be utilizing 2 frets at all times. 2 forms. One form is going to be using what I showed initially, where the first finger, which would be our root finger, our lead finger, and I like to go back and forth between these 2 fingers when I lead off, but in this case we're going to lead off with this. Now the beauty of this system is it doesn't matter where you start in the neck in terms of the top 3 or 4 strings. You can move up and down that neck and it doesn't matter. You can do this system anywhere in the neck. And so here would be the first form would be the first finger on the 3rd string and the second finger on the 4th string. And what did I say? 2 frets. So not 2 frets apart, we are incorporating 2 frets. Okay, make sure you understand that distinction. Okay, this finger is on this string on this fret, this finger is on this string and on this fret. Okay, so that's 2 fingers and 2 frets already whipped in this 2 by 4 system. Now I'm going to show you the second form, because there are what? 2 forms. Again, for the sake of this initial lesson and learning how to make music with your guitar. So 2 fingers will be incorporated. Now naturally, if I'm incorporating 2 fingers, that naturally incorporates that I'm also using 2 strings. That's the other side of the 2 finger rule, if you want to call it that, is that it's naturally incorporating 2 strings. So again, here we go. Now here's the second form I'm going to show you. Again, in this case, it is going to be 2 frets apart, but we're not referring to 2 frets apart. We're always referring to utilizing 2 frets. This is utilizing 2 frets just the same as this is, but this is just a second form. Second form I'm going to show you. Now, this is where also the focus part comes in. So in just that quick little lesson, I already went over all four, and you didn't even realize it. So 2 fingers, 2 frets. Here's the second form. Now watch what I do. The focus is where I'm using what finger is my lead finger. So in this case, this is to help you keep track of where you're always at. In this case, my lead finger is my first finger. Now I'm only playing, just so you understand, and to keep it very simple for you. When I say 2 fingers, I'm literally talking about 2 fingers right now. I'm only plucking the actual 2 strings where my 2 fingers are positioned on the neck. Only those 2 strings. Keep it simple. Only pluck. Don't strum. Don't mess up. Only pluck those 2 strings that you are touching down on the neck with those 2 fingers and on those 2 frets. Okay? Here's the second form. Again, focus, move this up, but because there is a rule generally in guitar playing, 1 finger per fret. 1 finger per fret. So in incorporating that as a general rule of thumb to always help you keep your place on the guitar neck, if you look how my fingers are positioned on the neck, it's 1 finger per fret. This finger's here, this finger's lined up here, this finger's lined up here, this finger's lined up here. Now I'm not expecting you to get that down perfectly, but it's just a general rule. So again, for these quick lesson here, here's these 2 fingers. I'm only plucking the 2 strings that I'm landing on the neck. Watch my focus. I move up, but instead I'm going to lift this guy up, this finger, and instead use this finger for my second form. And this is literally just, again, you're only moving this finger up once. The only difference is, instead of using this finger, we're now using the 1 finger per fret rule. This finger here. Only, again, plucking the same strings I'm using, just to keep it simple for you. That's the only string. See how nice this sounds? So this is what we did. 2 fingers, 2 frets, 2 focuses, 2 forms. I just showed you how simple this method is already. You've got it. Now, this is where it gets really cool. You can move this up the neck. Now here's there are in this system. There's a pattern, and making music with your guitar is all about these repeating patterns, all up and down the neck. And that's what I said. It doesn't matter where you start. Using this system, this methodology, this free flow method and system, you can literally move it up and down the neck wherever. So, but this is what I want to show you to complete this pattern. It's going to take 4 moves. That's where the 4 comes into play. It's 4 pillars, but there's a dual side to each one of the, to make up the free flow system. There's a duality to each side of it. Just like the 2 frets, that automatically incorporates 2 fingers. I mean, the 2 fingers automatically incorporates 2 strings. The 2 forms automatically incorporates 2 focuses automatically. But to complete this pattern, there's 4 moves. And then once you just simply use this only, and also it also means I'm only plucking the 2 strings. So again, when you learn this pattern, to complete this repeating pattern up and down the neck, you'll be able to make music all over the place all day long. Here we go. And then I'll get on to the next lesson after this. Going back to where I started, that completes the pattern. All I did there, watch the focus. Watch focus. I'm moving up 2. I'm moving up 2 again, but I'm finishing it with the same type of chord form that I started with. Why is that so cool? Because you can do it up and down the neck and it just repeats itself. We're going to get into that in the next lesson, so stay tuned for part